Welcome to This Week in Washington for May the 3rd, 2013. I hope that you'll have a chance in the next several days to visit the front door of our website at www.ctaa.org. We just uploaded a new podcast done between Scott Bogren and Sandra Webb of the Heart of Texas Council of Governments that I'd like you to listen to. Sandra's Rural Transportation Program is a member of our association, and among their service area is the community of West Texas. As you know from the news, West was devastated by an explosion at a fertilizer plant about the same time as the Boston terrorist attack. It seems that Sandra and her husband were among the first people to respond to this event by getting into some of their rural transit buses and driving them immediately to West to help with the evacuation of citizens that were affected by the blast. Sandra and the rest of her team that joined her there evacuated people from the nursing homes and other parts of the community. Often in times of disaster, people forget that rural areas can be as affected and dramatically affected as urban areas. And in this case, that's true about West, and the wonderful work that was done by the Heart of Texas Transit Program is one that we can all look upon with great pride and satisfaction. Every day we know that across the country, people in community and public transit are responding to the special needs of the people that they serve. But in this situation, this special response is worthy of our attention and our praise. So I hope that you'll have a chance to look at this and listen to the fine story that Scott gets from Sandra and the important work that was done there when that community needed its mobility services in a way that we hope few other people will ever need. In addition to that on our website, you will find several references to Expo, including another voice communication from President Klein inviting you and others, anyone who reads our website for that matter, to visit Expo this year in Albuquerque. Barb talks about the various training opportunities, the trade fair, and other important items that will take place in Albuquerque next month. Thinking about Albuquerque, I would like to let you know at this stage that earlier today we found out that we have more people signed up for pre-Expo training than we've had for the last 2 years. This is very good news for us and a good sign for a strong turnout. In addition to those numbers, we remain sold out at most of our hotels, and in addition to that, our trade fair has sold remarkably well. So we expect the Expo to be a very productive one and one that we will have very good attendance. I found out last week that FTA Administrator Rogoff will be able to attend Expo this year despite the disruptions of travel that have been caused by the sequestration. So we'll try to plan one of our sessions so that you, members of the Board of Directors, will have an opportunity to sit down with Administrator Rogoff and talk about issues and concerns that are high on your agenda, just like we do every year. The other thing that was released this week, since this seems to be a week for us to send out a lot of new communications, was this edition of Digital CT Magazine. And I hope you've already received a notice about that in your inbox, as well as being able to reach it on the website. I am very interested in an article that was published in this edition that deals with some cases of rural transit agencies that were involved in issues relating to school bus services. As many of you know, issues with school services and services to school children can oftentimes be as confusing as the issues that arise from time to time with charter service. In the story that is presented in this magazine, Mr. Bogren talks a lot about the ability of community and public transit agencies to provide public services to destinations that include schools and educational facilities, but talks about the federal rules and regulations that concern the inability of community and public transit agencies to offer exclusive services to students only. The article itself is a reaffirmation of one of the values that we're always talking about, that public transit is a great solution to resolving the needs of specific service requirements and special populations. The Federal Transit Administration, in its discussion of the two cases that we mention here, come in very strongly that as long as the system looks like public transit, acts like public transit, and behaves like public transit, students and other specialized groups can in fact be served. So I hope you'll take a look at that, and I'm particularly interested in any feedback you have about this article, because we've learned that the National School Bus Association has been sending investigators out and about the country looking for community and public transportation that are providing school bus services, which are currently not permitted in an exclusive way to be operated by rural or urban transit systems. So again, I hope you'll take a hard look at this article and let us know what concerns you have and what issues that we've covered here make good sense for local people dealing with this situation. And speaking of situations, since last week our Congress has gone home to listen to, I hope, some of you about the issues affecting various government programs and operations due to the sequester. This week we've had a great deal of discussion of the impact of these sequester cuts on things like Meals on Wheels and on services at several cancer clinics around the country. I would hope that all of you, given an opportunity to discuss these issues in town hall meetings or other events where you see members of Congress, will be able to tell them of the negative impact on services in your community, but also to highlight that when these cuts come in, the schedule for these services often change dramatically, and that in the end, more demand is made on local transit systems as they try to accommodate the needs of patients into smaller time blocks. This is very true of some of the issues that surfaced on cancer clinics. Instead of being open 12 to 18 hours a day, several of these clinics will be open 6 to 8 hours, and our transportation providers will have to try to get the people that they get all day long back and forth to these facilities into a much tighter time framework. This makes it exceptionally difficult not only for the providers, but in a seriously difficult situation for the patients, who often are not well equipped to deal with these kinds of changes. So I hope that if that is one of your situations, that you'll be communicating that directly to Congress. Raising concerns about the treatment of cancer patients is not lobbying. That's just something that we need to do as people who are educated about the importance of transportation in meeting the needs of these important individuals in the communities where they live. So that's all I have for you today. Thanks. I'll look forward to hearing from you soon, and I hope you're all preparing to join us at what looks like a very good expo this year in beautiful Albuquerque, New Mexico. Thanks and goodbye for now.